Hello and welcome to the place where we highlight the talented, the interesting, and the entertaining from our area. We have a big show tonight, Chops. Big show. We have singer and all-around fantastic entertainer, Mr. Jordan Paiva, joining us in just a few minutes. There he is. He's in the middle of the, the old Brady Bunch thing. Right in the middle. There he is. Hey, what's going on? We also have criminal defense attorney, Mr. Ken Van Colen.
Yeah, my man, Kenneth.
Those guys get a bad rap. I mean, everybody hates them until they need them. You know what I mean? One of those things. And we also have the sidekick of the century, the one and only Mr. Chops Turner. Hey, Chops, how's it going?
Hey, it's going pretty good. Hanging in there.
All right. Well, we like to pass along our prayers to everyone during this uncertain time. But as you know, we here try to break away and do a light take on some of the headlines. So, Chops, what do you think? Give it a shot.
Give it a shot.
We had a rough crowd last week. Really
rough.
All right. Well, here we go.
Only the beginning.
A woman got pulled over the other day, and she said to the police officer, "Why did you stop me?" And the officer said, "Well, your mask has a hole in it." And she said, "Yeah, but it's date night." Date night. You can use that here. You can use that anywhere. So it's all right.
Yeah.
Well, the New Bedford Public Schools are helping distributing meals in the Grab and Go program. Burger King actually has one. After eating the triple quad stack hamburger, it's grab and go to the emergency room. But you know what? The monologue's now. Wait a minute, there we go. Monologue's not going too good here, so I'm going to have a little drink here. Don't
do it.
Wait a minute.
Don't do it, boy.
Wait a minute. I know what that grab and go program was. It was Joe Biden. Oh, no. It wasn't me. It was the Clorox. It was the Clorox fucking.
Don't do it.
Anyway, you realize this is absolutely true. My job is to keep you up to date on everything that's going on. A man was thrown out of a baking group. They asked him to bake in the form of what makes him happy. So he baked a cake, this is true, of a woman touching a man while they were in bed. At least they won the bake-off. Story had a happy ending, I'll tell you that. Rob Gronkowski, I can't believe that he joined Tom Brady in Tampa.
Hey.
Someone said it was only business. I think it was more like double B. Bend over Belichick.
He's gone, man.
And finally, somebody's saying, "Jordan, what are you doing there?" Jordan's credibility just dropped like by 3 rungs on the thing.
Jordan's the man.
Well, last but not least, in honor of National Nurses Day, it's coming up in a few days, and Dunkin' Donuts is offering free coffee and a donut to all the nurses. Well, here we're not going to forget about that day. We're going to ask Chops to sing a song called "The Nurse Who Loved Me." Don't you remember that song? It was written by Sally Stethoscope. They're like,
this guy's crazy.
Hey, Chops, you got to tell that story. You ran into somebody and they said, "Hey, I recognize your voice from the."
Yeah, he recognized my laugh, and he said, "You were that Paul guy." I said, "Paul Santos."
Yeah, and then he went, "Why? Why are you doing that?"
You got.
Well, anyway, a couple of quick things. We did bring back the classic clip of the week. We're showing some old sports clips, not all sports, mostly sports. We just put up one from Golden Gloves, Scott Pemberton, a lot of fun. So a lot of stuff coming soon. We also have some great guests coming up in the next few weeks. Our radio guy, Pete Braley, Robin Miranda, local business owner, singer Marlena Johnson, Leon Monty, and more. But let's get on with it tonight because we have some super big-time talent. You see that middle box right there? There's Jordan Paiva.
How we doing?
Hey, Chops, you want some Clorox?
No, thank you.
Does it come with fries?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Well, anyway, Jordan, it's great to see you. I gotta say, we love to joke around here, and I know we're silly, and I know, like 75% of the time we fail, but we're having some laughs here. But I gotta tell you,
drinking.
yeah.
That's right.
Well, Jordan has this thing. He's got the music of our lives, but he also has this thing, Jordan Paiva comedy. And if you think this is right off the rails, I mean, you're like, it's like HBO. Like, you don't hold back with you can say whatever words you want to say.
No filter.
Right?
No filter. And I'll tell you what, I don't know what else to eat. I think I officially eaten everything. I mean, what are we going to eat today? I'm going to go find like a squirrel, try something different. I'm already over takeout, and I'm over my wife. I'm telling
you.
So
I got to tell you, to just be serious for 30 seconds. You came up with this idea to sing outside of elderly residences, And I got to tell you, having had my dad in an elderly residence until he just passed at the great age of 90, so we're thankful that we had him. We're thankful that we had him. To be out there singing to folks like that, you even said the forgotten people, what a great thing. And people that bumped into that, it's no surprise that you got 500,000 views, because everybody saw that. They went, wow, this is what people should be doing.
It's crazy. I mean, just like you said, it's so hard to say, we don't want to think of it that way, but they are the forgotten ones. I mean, do we see them every day? Some people know. Some people maybe once a week, once a month. And, that's what I do during the week is I go to these nursing homes. And since everything going on, it's been like I can't go there like I would normally go. And I had a girl, one of the girls messaged me and says, what would you think about doing something outside? And I says, that's a really good idea. And then I called them all and I said, let's go. Let's do this. Let's do this. And, it's been such a success, and I'm blessed. I really am.
Well, tell me about your career, because I know we talked about it briefly before. You were kind of like working the so-called dreaded day job at the bank, and then you're like, should I go all in on this music thing? And then one day you went, the heck with it, I'm going for it. And now you're really enjoying it. Between the Jordan Paiva comedy, the music of our lives, it looks like you're having a good time. I know it's a lot of work. I think people probably don't realize how much work it is, but you're having a great time, right?
I'm supposed to be enjoying time in quarantine. I'm working more than I've ever worked in my entire life.
That's right.
These bags don't come for free. Oh my God.
How old are you?
28 this year in July.
Oh, man. Hey, Chops, he doesn't know what sacks under the eyes are. You know what I mean?
Oh, man. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Look at Van Colen. He's looking a little tired over there.
Hey, the receding hairline's coming, Kevin. It's coming. It's coming.
Oh, no.
Yeah, like that.
All right. Well, I got to tell you, I'm watching your stuff all the time. We're hoping that we could talk you into, giving us a couple of minutes of a song or two or whatever you want to do. Are you prepared? Can you just do something on a quick request like that?
Let me go comb my hair. I'll be right back.
I actually like the receding hairline look. That's pretty good.
Oh my God, that was great.
Honest to God, I was sitting with my wife and I was like, you know what? I'm bored. Let's shave my head. How do I look bald?
Yeah, you can do Pitbull. It'd be great.
Yeah, right on. Let's go.
Oh, that's it, Ken. Hold on.
Yeah.
How you doing?
Hey, did you wipe yourself down before you came on, by the way?
Still pledging. Making sure. I don't want anybody to smell me through the grapevines.
Oh my God.
All right, so did you bring a clip?
All right, let me see what I gotta clear off the scrambled porn here. Hold on, let me see what I got here. All right, let's exit out of that.
Hey Chops, I thought that aren't the guests are supposed to come prepared. I tell you what's going on here.
He's ready. He's always ready.
It took me an entire week to write that 2 minutes of horror.
I mean, we could play Debbie Does the Azores. That sounds interesting. You never know what's going to happen.
I said Zoosh! Anyway, all right.
All right, let's see what I got here. Oh, let's go. Oh, my goodness. All right.
I know. Hey, so Chops, while he's doing that, what's going on with you? What's up?
I'm hanging in there best I can.
Let's make sure. Our guest's still here. Okay, they haven't clicked out yet. Okay, that's good. Are you ready to go?
Let's do this.
All right. Wait a minute. Hang on a second. This is my favorite part of the show. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Jordan Paiva. Yeah. All right.
Come with me, and you'll be in a world of pure imagination. Take a look, and you'll see into your imagination. Should I keep going? Do I have to keep going?
Yes. Yeah. One more verse.
All right. We'll begin with a spin, traveling in the world of my creation. What we'll see will defy explanation. If you want to view paradise, simply look around and view it. Anything you want to change the world, there's nothing to it.
All right. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. All right.
Thank you.
Wonderful.
You know what I like about Jordan Paiva, and the same can be said for Chops Turner. Like, you guys can do anything.
I got this new thing that I've been practicing.
Okay, all right. Hey, look, the guest is making a run for it. I knew it was going to happen sooner or later. All right, we still got quite a few live viewers. Don't X out.
I've been trying this new thing, like
oh my God.
Wendy's commercial.
All right, who are you supposed to be?
I'm doing a Wendy's commercial. You know, the new bacon.
All right.
All right.
That's crazy.
What can you do that's like hip? Like, like a Maroon 5 or, Ariana Grande or something. How about a Taylor Swift? Shake it off. Oh, shake it off.
If you want me to do Maroon 5, I really gotta squeeze the insides of me. Let me squeeze a little bit down here.
All right. Go ahead. Let me hear what you got.
All right, let's see. Well, I got music here. All right, let me see. All right. I gotta sing a little higher now. Oh my God. Oh, like grandma. Here we go.
All right, lay it on me, mama.
I'm hurting, baby. I'm broken down. I need your loving. I need it now.
Yeah.
I'm without you, I'm something weak. You've got me begging. I'm on my knees. I don't want to be needing your love. I just want to be deep in your love. And it's killing me on a day. Oh, baby, because I really don't care where you are. I just really want to be where you are. And I gotta taste.
Oh, my man, Greg, Ken.
Well, yeah. Gonna put it down on me. Any higher, I'm gonna pop my.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. That's awesome right there.
Yeah, that was awesome. That was great.
Hey, that's great. That's a lot of fun. I know you really love music, really love performing. I always like to bring this up. I know we're beating a dead horse, but for those who don't know, you guys on the side there, one day he's in the audience. Josh Groban called him up on the stage, and at the Providence Civic Center, Dunkin' Donuts Center, he got to sing with Josh Groban. You raise me up, you raise me up. I still can't believe. Hey, what was this thing with Bob Saget? What was all that about? Bob Saget favorite shout out.
So they have on April 17th. On April 17th, there's like this thing called Cameo, and you can get celebrities to wish your loved ones birthday wishes.
Yes, I've seen that.
17th. Yeah, it's so cool. So on April 17th, I don't know what was a special day that day. I don't know what's on April 17th. But they were looking to raise money for the COVID-19 pandemic. So Music of Our Lives, we made a nice donation, to help them with supplies and masks. And they said, hey, you know what? If you have a story, share your story. We sent the video of of me singing at the Oaks that got over 500,000 views, and we gave them a little story of who I am and what I do for the community, and they sent it to their Rolodex of people, and they said, if you have any favorite people that you like, we'll send it to them too. And they raised millions of dollars.
Wow.
You know, to help with supplies, ventilators, with more masks. Oh my God! When Bob Saget came through, I'm like, oh my God.
Hey, by the way, everybody knows him from Full House. But have you ever seen his stand-up act? it is the most off the rails vulgar thing you've ever seen in your life. But anyway,
it's like Full House rated R. I'm like,
yeah, right, exactly.
Oh my God!
All right, so Jordan, before we let you go, what do you got coming up? Anything in the next week or two, or?
Well, I was going to eat some cheeseburgers tomorrow, and then I think the day after that I might plant some flowers because the whole entire month of May. You know, everybody's doing these parades for these birthdays. 6 of them. I did 6 of them.
Wow.
Today. 5 of them yesterday. I think we have a total of now 53 parades we're going to do this month. We're going to come by with the DJ mobile with my face on it. Then,
oh man, how much notice do you need? Like, say I have a birthday like in July, for example. Like, what do I have to do?
Well, so I'm taking it week by week right now. So we have people message me for graduations for the seniors.
Right, yeah.
And I'm going to take it month by month. So we'll book June, maybe like the last week of May, and we'll go through the whole calendar and put June in there. So we have a lot of people on hold for June and July. But I'm like, because who knows? Maybe tomorrow, you know, Governor Baker will be like, you know what? Screw it. Everybody can go to the beach. Don't cross them out.
Well, somebody like you, the performer, you must really miss being in front of the audience and interacting with people and all that, right?
You know, it's so weird. And, you know, everybody says, what do you do for a living? I work with brides.
No, don't get into trouble here.
It's gonna be okay.
All right, Jordan.
Well, weddings. It's crazy.
I need to speak to my attorney over here. So
that's the part where I get off.
You're already in trouble.
I got a lawyer up. Hey, Jordan, as soon as we get back in the studio, I'd love to have you back again.
Absolutely.
Jordan, man, you're
great, man. You're
all
great,
right,
man.
Paiva, ladies and gentlemen. That's what I'm talking about. All right. Now, Chops, you ready for the lawyer now?
Oh, yeah. He's been waiting in the wings.
Lose all your audience. This is it. They're all going away now.
No, we have to rebuild. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, hey, Chops, by the way, anything that you say, can be held against you because it's only the 3 of us here. But anyway, welcome to our microphone's attorney, Ken Van Colen. How are you, Ken?
Excellent. Thank you. Excellent.
Yeah, thank you very much for being patient tonight. You know, we were doing 2 guests a show for a while, and we're doing this remote thing. So then we were doing 1, but we do like 2 because we can cover different topics. But one of the things I do want to talk about, seriously, we're going to joke around a little bit, but the criminal defense attorney, right? So they see you, Ken Van Colen. I've known Ken for 30. Talk about a really great, straight shooting, honest as the day is long guy, right? But if you say that you're a criminal defense attorney, if they say criminal defense attorney, they're gonna go, "Oh God, that guy, he's defending bums and he's doing that." So, what do you say about that?
I'm excited to do it. These people all need help. When we talked before about attorneys getting a bad rap, with this COVID-19 and coronavirus thing, and in the news every day, people getting released from the jails because of the assessment. We're all getting a bad rap now. People are looking at you like, what are you doing getting people out of jail? Yeah.
But the process, we like to talk about due process because, people obviously are guilty and they have a defense. But if they don't have a defense, Paul Santos, Chops Turner, and Ken Van Colen doesn't have a defense. So it's like, no, really, it's like when John Adams defended the Redcoats. Right, John Adams defended the Redcoats for that very reason, right?
Exactly. People don't get it. If we drop the ball, the ball's dropping on everyone else.
Yeah.
That's right.
When I started practicing and was young, almost 30 years ago, people used to talk about holding a torch, keeping the torch. I really understand what that meant. I thought that was like, rah, rah, ray, ray, let's do this,
Yeah.
But it's really, having seen the laws develop against individuals since 9/11, the laws that were created to get terrorism and protect our country, governments have been using that to get the individual. And that's scary stuff.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I did want to shout out to a lot of the people watching tonight. We have somebody watching in Atlanta. So hello to Tammy and Pam and Steven and some folks that were saying hello to Jordan. And one said, hey, Jordan, we miss you at breakfast. I don't know. I guess he goes out to breakfast anyway to the people. But anyway, yeah, it is interesting but the funny thing, I was a prosecutor for a long time. And, then I did some criminal defense for a while, but then I got out of it. And we always joke around about, we hear people go, oh, those judges, they're letting everybody out and the criminals are getting away with everything, And then all of a sudden you get a call on the phone. It's like, hey, Paul, yeah, how you doing? Yeah. Hey, my son, the cops are lying. My son got accused of something. He didn't do it. I'm like, is this the same guy? What the hell happened? He's got out the Declaration of Independence. He's got out the Constitution, the Magna Carta. He's got everything. I'm thinking to myself, what happened? What happened?
That's the path of friends and family, right? When we were kids, I think you're like maybe several years older than I am, But when we were kids, the stuff we did as kids, if the police got involved, they just sent us home, right? Sent us home, told our parents. Now kids are getting, arrested for the silliest things, and it can ruin a life.
Well, I always tell people, I always tell people, and you do it too, I want to be safe, right? I want my family to be safe, but I just, in the zeal to be safe and get the bad guy, I don't want you to get innocent people also. And that's why you have a process.
Right.
That's why you have a process. You know what I mean?
Right.
So do you like, you've been an attorney about 30 years now, right?
Yeah.
Are you getting a little tired? How's that?
It's the best job I ever had. It really is. My first job I had was I was a computer engineer, doing the 9-to-5 thing, the cubicle thing. I've had plenty of other jobs since then, and being a lawyer, it's been the best job ever.
What about the gamesmanship? I do think that, the competitive juices, because we're all human, right? The competitive juices start flowing. So when you're doing a trial, the competitive juices start flowing, and one side wants to beat the other side, and the other side beats the other side. And it is true that sometimes people start to forget what you're there for. You're not there for me to beat you or you to beat me. You were there for each of us to present our side in the light most favorable to our side, and then let the process go from there.
Oh, absolutely. But you got it. I hope that when you get an attorney, because you're jammed up, you want that attorney to fight like it's his own personal thing going.
Yeah, right. Absolutely.
You see people just checking it in every now and then, and it's kind of disappointing. It's nice to, I don't know if you like watching MMA or any kickboxing or anything like that, but a good trial is like that. A good trial, watching people kick the shit out of each other.
Yeah, no, I know. I just put Chops up there. I just wanted to see Chops' facial expressions. I don't know if do you look guilty there? No, I think you're.
I keep on hoping that one of you have a bigger forehead than me.
Well, you used to be a prosecutor too. That's a funny thing. People say you did criminal defense. You did whether you're a prosecutor or a defense attorney. There's a lot of similarities to both of those things.
It's the same job.
It's the same job, really. You're just on the other side.
You're advocating for your side. I have to tell you though, I laughed a lot as a prosecutor. I think I laughed every day on the job a little bit.
I can't say exactly the story, but something unexpected happens. Like you think you have a loser of a case, and it's like, well, my client wants me to go forward, so you go forward, and then like witness A goes on, and you're like, okay, it looks like I'm not doing too good. Then witness B goes on and says everything opposite witness A just said. And it's like, wait a minute, what just happened to the case? The case just, what I thought was a loser of a case just went down the tubes to the other side, right?
When you start putting people on the witness stand, they start having to tell the truth. They feel it. They feel the pressure. and
Right.
you see cases start going sideways because witnesses suddenly start, seeing the light, and then that story, the talking Amy story that your client told you that you didn't believe, all of a sudden it's coming true. He was telling
Yeah.
you.
Well, I worry about the process coming under attack because believe me, it's not perfect. You know why it's not perfect? Because human beings aren't perfect.
Correct.
So as long as you have witnesses that are telling the truth, or jurors that have, although the juries are pretty good, I have to say, every once in a while, unfortunately, somebody that shouldn't be on a police force somehow ends up on one, and it hurts the overwhelming majority of good police officers over. Or something happens with it. I mean, we had they're doing a documentary about the Amy Dukin, who was putting through like drug tests without even testing them.
The gravity of that.
Yeah, it's just like a total. Yeah, so when things like that happen, all of us feel bad, whether we're police officers, whether we're prosecutors, whether defense attorneys, anybody that's involved. It's like we can't have that. You know what I mean? We're trying to, and again, it's not perfect. Believe me, it's not perfect, but. What do they say? It's the worst system except for the rest.
When you have someone like Annie Dukin who doesn't have a horse in the race, so to say, she's just a scientist. Just be a scientist. And we like to believe in science.
Right.
When she makes science not credible, she flips the whole system upside down. When you can't
imagine that. Imagine having a substance and they went, "Oh yeah, we tested it, it's positive," and it wasn't drugs at all. And you think a jury's going to believe you? You know what I mean? You're dead to rights, pal. I don't care. You could have F. Lee Bailey or Johnny Cochran, whoever you want. You're done.
Because she had science on her side, right? She said, "I did that thing."
Well, how about that? When people real quick they talk about, and I love to mention this, proof beyond a reasonable doubt. And then the judge always says to the jurors, if you can't say to yourself morally certain, you are morally certain that this person is guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. If you have a reasonable doubt in your mind, you must acquit. And people get upset and they say, well, that's how a guilty person gets out. Yes, but that's also how an innocent person doesn't get wrongly convicted. That's the problem. That's the problem. And it's a tough problem to have. Believe me, I don't want guilty people set free, but I don't want to have innocent people like myself or some innocent person in my family convicted either. You know what I mean? That's where it gets tough,
That's where it gets tough. Yeah. And every citizen should have to sit through the proof beyond a reasonable doubt instruction and see how they feel, because that piece of law, my friends that are really conservative and pro law enforcement, when they sit on a jury, they've acquitted people because they hear
absolutely.
And they hear that in the instruction there's that phrase, even if there's a probability, even that probability is a great probability, that's still not enough.
Not enough.
Right.
Not enough.
Not enough.
Yeah. And, we had a period of time where, so many people a month, I forget what the number was, not even 8 or 10 people a month were being released because they used DNA, and all these people were being wrongly convicted. And a lot of people are like, oh, yeah, it's real hard to be wrongly convicted. I'm like, and that's when I became an attorney, the first thing I learned in about like a year and a half, I'm like, oh my God, you can be wrongly convicted. All it takes is a lying witness that they believe.
Yep.
True.
I mean, if you're lying and they believe you, you could be toast. You know what I mean? It's really scary, So anyway, on that thought,
be careful where you leave your DNA. That's all I'm saying.
That's right. That's true.
All right, Ken, you got any final thoughts before we let you go?
Just keep up the faith, Paul. Keep up the faith.
Right. And all right.
Thank you very much.
By the way,
Thank you,
when we get back in the studio, we'd love to have you in person.
I would love to be there.
Yeah, all right. All right. Hey, thanks very much.
Enjoy,
ladies and gentlemen. All right. All right. It sits down to me and you, Chops.
Yeah,
we want to take the opportunity to thank our sponsors, Empire Ford of New Bedford, Rose Homes, LAER Realty Partners, and Do So and Zader. They help make our live shows possible. They also make the animal shelter visits possible as well. And so, our sponsors, they've been really good, like kind of hanging with us. So, I'm looking at the comments tonight. Getting a lot of good comments tonight, Chops. Good comments.
All right, about that.
Last week was a rough.
That was rough, man.
I mean, we just chuckled because, look, it's like you can kind of sit out there and just kind of not do anything, or you can at least try to do something. So that's what we're doing. We're trying to do something. Okay, so by the way, That Stand By Me, man, that was great. I love that. So what can you give us 1 minute of something good?
Let me
You know what
see.
they say? Like, remember that guy? I don't know. I think it was Usher. Used to say, "Hey, what's good? What's good? We can do it next week." You know. By the way,
Okay.
you're talking about you do a. I think you said you did Ray Charles. You don't have to do it right now. And sometimes you do Stevie Wonder. So I was flipping around on YouTube, and I stumbled across like Ray Charles. I guess he was on.
Yeah.
No, they played an old Saturday Night Live, and Ray Charles was on there. And he was singing, and I'm like, oh man, you know, Chops was doing an imitation of Ray Charles. So it was really good, you know, it was really good. So anyway, so you cue something up for next week, all right, sir?
Okay, I will. No problem.
All right. How's everything? Everything's going all right? You hanging in there?
Hanging the best I can, Paul, you know, considering, but
Did that government answer your letter yet or what?
Not yet.
Damn it. What's going on? How come all the big shots they get everything right away?
I don't know.
Well, I'm getting a comment over here. The good old days when you guys were prosecutors. Well, an old friend of mine, police officer, Ken and I were prosecutors, and then we moved on. So yeah, we go a lot of times. I run into people and they go, "I remember when you were a prosecutor," you know. So that was 30 years. You know, about 27 years ago. So since I was a prosecutor, so so it's the time just keeps on going by. So that's why we're trying to have a little fun here and there.
That's right.
All right. So again, we want to mention we're going to bring another classic sports clip of the week. The next one is going to be the Dartmouth-Staying hockey rivalry. We'll have that one coming soon. We also have next week businesswoman Robin Miranda. Remember Robin Miranda? She's going to be on. She's going to be a lot of fun. We have a drummer by the name of Eric Church, former radio host Pete Braley the week after that, singer Marlena Johnson, Leon Monty, our friend Leon. You know? Leon's sitting out in the wings there, and he's like, "Oh man, those guys are having too much fun. I got to get down there." And of course, our good friend here, Chops Stern. Hey, Chops, always a pleasure. Thank you very much.
You too. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
All right, I'm Paul Santos for the Paul Santos Show. Take care, be safe, and we'll see you next week. Good night.
Thanks, Paul. God bless. Take care.